Boom. How's everyone doing? We are live just for a little impromptu catch up. Some information has come to us in the last few hours, a bit early on today, and we just looked into it a bit more, dug a little bit deeper, and it looks like Nigerian businessman Aliko Dangote. Dangote. Aliko Dangote. Go on, Si.
It sounded like you said Dan Nugget.
Dan Nugget, no.
I can't pronounce his name. I literally can't.
Aliko Dangote. Billionaire businessman. Is interested in taking over Arsenal again. He tried previously, but I think the situation before was that he wanted he wanted shares in Arsenal. But this time he's come back and he wants to take over the whole club. Si, fill us in a little bit of information. Obviously, just fill us in a bit of information, mate.
Well, basically what I was told, the two conversations that I've had this afternoon, is that this is all going back from 2015, where he first made his awareness to Arsenal known that he wants to buy Arsenal, that he's got over seven companies, I think it is, in Nigeria. And then basically, since 2015, he's basically carried on with his companies and basically wants to get them to a point where they're finished and complete. And then he wants to buy Arsenal. He said in 2015 he wants to buy Arsenal. He came back in 2017 and said that he wanted to buy Arsenal. He tried, what was it now? Oh yeah, he tried purchasing shares into Arsenal, but Alistair Usmanov would not sell his shares. So he has tried that. He's not gone to the Kroenkes and tried taking shares off them. He tried taking it off Alistair Usmanov. And with Usmanov sat there for a few years now, not getting anywhere, literally, with Arsenal because of the Kroenkes. So you can see why he's targeted Usmanov rather than the Kroenkes first. So basically, he comes back in 2018 and was going to actually make a proper purchase. Usmanov had already made a purchase, I think, on Arsenal at this point, and I think it was between 3 to 4 billion, an offer or something like that, and the Kroenkes turned it down. And that's because, obviously, Alistair Usmanov still owns his shares. So why, if you're Kroenkes, you're not going to sell your shares knowing that another businessman has got shares as well, because then you're not getting that money. So it's something to do with that. So then 2019 is when he came out on national TV. I can't remember the channel now that he was on. It was some American TV news article or whatever it is, channel. And he came out and said publicly to everyone that he's going to buy Arsenal. Once I finish with all my projects in Nigeria and my company is at a place where I want it to be, I will buy Arsenal. And he's very adamant on when he says, I want to buy Arsenal.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at his previous comments, he's actually said that he was interested in buying Arsenal. He said previously he wanted to buy Arsenal he was asked a question about buying Arsenal last year, and he actually said he doesn't want to buy Arsenal yet. It's not the right time. He wants to finish all the work at his companies because he wants to take his companies to the next level. And once he does take these companies to the next level, then he will want to come back in and buy Arsenal. He said maybe 2021. I've only just seen those comments today since I spoke to you. Did a little bit of reading up on previous, is what it said, because that's what we're doing it. And yeah, I mean, it would be a massive. I mean, to say that he wanted to come back in 21 and to say like now there's talks that he's looking to come back in 2021, Can seem a bit like we may have just, but that's a long ass story to keep track of, and a thin one to sort of grasp hold of as well to make into a story. Will it happen? Who knows? Stan Kroenke is a very stubborn man, but he's also a businessman. And if we're talking about sums of money, we can't say how much he's looking to spend, how much he wants to spend, how much it's going to cost them, because we don't know them. That's why we said as soon as we get any information, we'll tell you. When we do get more of that information, we'll let you know. It's what else was there?
He's grown. He has actually grown his companies, though. His 7 companies. He has actually grown them since 2015, because at 2015, he was worth 8.7 billion. And that's when he first made his awareness to Arsenal. Then he got to 2019 and he went up to, I think it was 14. What was it now? Oh, yeah, that was it. 14.2 million. So he's growing it every single time. And then he's still letting Arsenal know that I'm buying Arsenal Football Club. And if any other person comes in to try and buy Arsenal off the Kroenkes, I will then try and basically outbid the new bidder. Because he's being an Arsenal fan as well. He claims he's an Arsenal fan. He's met, like, basically, how can I put it? He's done all his work, put it that way. He's done all his work on Arsenal, knows what it needs to take, what the Kroenkes will take as well, because now that they own 100% of Arsenal, they could, if he said to them, you know what, I'll put my first bid in and it'll be 5 billion. Now Arsenal's only worth 1.6 to 1.9 mil. That's how much Arsenal Football Club alone is worth. So if you'd be a bit stupid, especially in a pandemic as well, with what's happening with this coronavirus, the pandemic, people with money and people losing money, because the Kroenkes have had to put their own money into the club for basically paying stuff, not transfers, but the day-to-day stuff at Arsenal. So that was 2019. And then what I was told this afternoon is now that his companies, he's got them to a point where he doesn't have to oversee them anymore now. He's happy of where they all are. He's done his research and he's done his profiting and all that. Got all his 7 companies to where he wants them to be. And then basically, when he says when he comes to buy Arsenal, he wants to make sure that there's no distractions whatsoever. His company, I can't remember the name now. This is very amateur because I should remember it.
It's Dangote.
It's his third
enterprises.
It's his third enterprise that he's concentrated more on, but he only just made a turnover of 22.4 billion, and that's with him putting back the takeover from Arsenal, and he's concentrating on that. But now, like I said, in 2015, he's gone from 8 point something billion to now the guy's actually worth over, I think it's 20. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. What did that? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was like 23 billion. Like his latest projects have brought in.
Yes.
It's essentially, it looks like he's doubled his profit in the last 2 years, which is a phenomenal amount of money for one person. So share the wealth. But okay, so the reason why I've sort of latched onto this story, is because I was told something about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer. And I was told that one of the reasons why Tim Lewis had come in, was to streamline Arsenal for a sale. Now that's not necessarily to say Kroenkes are selling Arsenal, but what that is saying, that Kroenkes brought in Tim Lewis to streamline everything so that they're spending as least amount of money as possible. So potentially within the next 2 years, they could sell. And again, like I said, that's not saying that the Kroenkes are saying they're going to sell. That's preparing the business for if they had to. So if they don't sell, then they just go back to normal and they carry on with this streamlined business, or they can sort of start at putting money else in other places because they've saved on so much money. So the practice of streamlining your business and doing audits and stuff like that is a very standard one. But I have been told by the golden eggs, one of my golden eggs, that Tim Lewis was also brought in to streamline everything with a view for potentially selling. And again, as I say, that's not saying he's brought in to sell Arsenal. He's brought in as a state agent to make sure the business is sold. It's to audit stuff, to cut down things that don't need to be there, to get rid of everything so the Kroenkes ain't spending as much money as possible. And it's just that. And if it gets to the point where they think to themselves, you know what? I like it the way it is. I want to carry on doing it. We'll carry on. We're going to carry on, and maybe we'll spend here. Maybe we'll add a bit there because we've saved so much money with the streamlining. So, like I said, audits happen all the time. People are brought in to look at the books and say, okay, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need that. But Tim Lewis was specifically had a job as well to streamline the business with a view for selling. So,
that's it, yeah. And one thing I was told as well this afternoon is when you look at Stan Kroenke and you look at the new stadium that he's had done, which is like $5 billion stadium, he says, now that that's finished, Kroenke has no use anymore now for Arsenal because he's got no more projects that he's got building, basically. He was basically with Arsenal Football Club with loans since he's been there. With this new stadium that he's done. Now that the stadium's finished, once everything with this pandemic, whatever happens with it, how long it takes or whatever happens, when that stadium obviously is full and stuff like that, maybe the Kroenkes could be looking into actually selling up Arsenal and then going back over to the pond. And basically that's where they'll pick up again from. And they've still got businesses, I think, in like 19 other sports companies in America. They've got, I think, 3 NFL teams and stuff like that. Yeah, ice hockey and all that. Americans all know more than that than what I am. But basically, with the Kroenkes, they were just using Arsenal to put loans on the stadium because they always paid their loans back.
But if you're asking me, do I think that he's going to take over Arsenal? Personally, I'd say no. Why? Because with the European League coming in, and that European League would want Arsenal to be a part of it, no matter how much people think that Arsenal are a small club. It's nonsense talk. This is grown up talk, kids. And Arsenal are not a small club, so they would be a part of that European League. And for me, it wouldn't, if you're streamlining the business, and you're doing audits and for a potential sale, and then potentially there's still in the back of your mind, there's still that European League there, I'd at least see what it's saying. So I personally don't think that this guy, I know that he has his intentions, but it's about Kroenke wanting to sell. And this guy's stubborn as a mule. So do I think this guy will come in to try and buy Arsenal? Yes, because he's bullish and he wants Arsenal. Do I think the Kroenkes will sell? I don't think so. But that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. That's not anything from anything I've heard. This is from a football fan's opinion. This is nothing from what I've heard, because if I'd heard something, I would be telling you. I'd be saying, nah, it's not happening. I'd be saying, yeah, do you know what? There's actual real chance that the Kroenke could sell. But this is my opinion because I've got no more information that we've already told you. I don't think he'll sell. What do you say, Simon?
I think it all depends on this Super League, what happens with it. Because
I think that's quite important.
That's it. It is literally, because when you think about it, they say that football can't survive without fans. It's been doing it now for how long? And they've fetched in PPV pay-per-views to help out. Yes, I know it's £14 something, but fans have already basically turned that down, and now they've got rid of it. So that just shows you as well that football will survive without fans. If Arsenal fans like you, like me, we don't want to leave the Premier League and go into a Super League where it's the Champions League every season. For me,
No.
I just no.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want
No,
that.
I don't.
And for me, this is a completely other subject. This we do a pod on this. We do a pod on this.
Yeah.
But for me, I can't say I'd support another team because it would be very hard to. But I would probably go and follow my other team, which is Charlton. I'd probably follow them more like passionately as a football team. Because like if I wanted to support a team in another country, which essentially would be, I'd go and support a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. I supported Arsenal because of their history and the players that I enjoyed watching when I was younger. It drew me to the club, and I loved the club. If that's going into European League and it's Champions League every week, the love of the Champions League is because it's something different, because you're playing with the elite. You're taking away from your everyday and you're getting something different. I don't know if I can follow it. I don't know if I can follow it the same.
It'd be like Scottish League for me when they play Celtic and Rangers 4 times a year. It'd have to get to that sort of stage, because I don't know how you could even, it'd make sense. Because they say it as well, that if Arsenal played Man United, you won't actually be at the Emirates or at Old Trafford. You'd be somewhere else, in another country, in another stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you expect, though, when you allow billionaires to come into England and buy a football club? They're all going to do it. And now it's, for me, it's like a massive game of 20 billionaires playing poker.
Yeah.
And stands there with his cards, which is Arsenal, and he's going up against Roman, who's got his cards, which is Chelsea. And then you're looking, there's Real Madrid that's come to the table.
But the thing is, it's like Roman Abramovich will happily play his cards.
Yeah.
The Glaziers will play their cards. Kroenke just bluffs, mate. That's all he does. He fucking bluffs.
He'll play his cards backwards so we can all see what he's got, and he just sees red on the back.
He's bluffing, mate. He's bluffing. He's like, fold. All right,
you've got a full house there.
I'm gonna answer a couple of questions. All right, what we got? Hey, let's see. Say hello to a couple of our regulars. How you doing, Corey? Sadaf, thank you for joining us. Lyric, that's a new one I've seen there. Hey, why you're not Semantic FC? I can never do that one. Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Wesley Cooper, that's a new one. Sounds like Timmy. Come on, hit me up. Hit me up with some questions, guys. You've got a minute and a half. I'm going to cut this off at 20 minutes. Yeah, you've got a minute and a half Q&A, and go. I could hear people typing frantically. Come on, and I'll put your question up on there as well. Arsenal couldn't compete in the European Super League. Okay, yeah, but you say that now, yeah. But if Arsenal were in the European Super League, then all the players that aren't in that European Super League will want to go to one of the teams in the European Super League because they're paying the most money. And that's where you're going to get the most advertisement. So you're going to have the best teams in that. You'll have the best players in that. So you can say that Arsenal would get slapped, but I don't think that's the case.
But you've also got to look at it as well as Arsenal, London, biggest club in London, and then every player in the world loves going to London. London's a massive pull.
And also, I saw someone say about Arsenal, they wouldn't want Arsenal to be in the Champions League right now. And look, I understand that, but again, if Arsenal are in the Champions League, they're not having this squad. They've not got this squad in the Champions League. Like it'd be a completely different squad. So yeah. Next question. What we got? We got any Arsenal transfer news this winter? Look, There's rumours they're going about. We've posted what we've been told. Sabozli, Awa, Samari, Mivlichenko. These are all rumours that we've been told. Once we get something more concrete, we'll post it.
Same as people inboxing me asking about
but
Dominic
Sabozli.
Sabozli. Oh, he's going to Leipzig. He's going to Leipzig. You said he were going, and then his agent came out and went, there's no agreement.
No, but the thing is, look, people, this is what you got to do, like, because this is what stresses me out, yeah? You're not reading what we're writing. You're not reading. You're reading, like, 3 words and going, raw! Like, so, for instance, we put out the other day, yeah, that I put out the other day, yeah, that Arsenal were in talks about Samari, yeah. Arsenal were in talks. So then it came out in Bild, not from us, in Bild, that Leipzig were edging closer because they had discussions, yeah, in Bild. So then what do people say? You told us he was going Arsenal. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. We said he'd held talks. Read, people. Please read. And then when you said, you got our hopes up, do you know what? I just won't give you any Arsenal news. Like
you got your own hopes up.
Because that's what it's like. It's like, please, relax, people. All right? Relax. Just because the news ain't news you want to hear, it don't mean we're not reliable. It just means it's not news you want to hear. And plus, please look at the sources as well. If it's our sources, we just won't put a source. Yeah. If it's someone else, we will put the source. Yeah. Always. All right. Who's next? I'll go on a bit longer. I'll go on to 25. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a B-star.
I know that I've been told as well that Mikel Arteta's job is the safest job in the Premier League right now.
Yeah, because it's nonsense. Look, I want anyone that wants to take me on with this Arteta battle. We can go toe to toe. It'll be friendly. So chew you up and spit you out. Wesley Cooper. Do you know what, Wesley? I'm going to look into that for you. I don't think he has, but for me, I don't. Okay. He's a businessman. Yeah. And there'd be a certain element of he's a businessman and he wants to look after his money. But he's also a businessman who's an Arsenal fan. So how much footballing background you need to have for that? As long as he's got the right footballing people, if you know what I mean. But I'll look into that for you, bruv. Good question, man. Good question.
I didn't see any football knowledge when I had a look at him into Arsenal. He's just an Arsenal fan.
All right. Do you think we would spend and not get slapped 5-1 by Bayern Munich and LFC and who are already ahead of us? Well, that again, it's an assumption. Like Arsenal, when they got slapped, by Bayern Munich previously, they were not a team on the rise. They weren't. They were a team that was staying steady or slowly declining. Yeah. So to talk about these results towards the end in our worst times, is not. I'm trying not to swear, but it's an awful bar. It's a terrible bar to set. Like in Arsenal's worst period, we're all setting the bars of where we were in our worst period. It's kind of nonsense, man. And I'm just saying, like, because this is the kind of attitude that I hear a lot. It's like, we got slapped by this, we got slapped by that. But it's just like, I just don't think, look, if we were to go into the Champions League now, and we bought players for the Champions League in our first season back in the Champions League, in like 5 years, do I think we would get beat by a bad score? We could possibly do. But that's part and parcel of being in the Champions League. That's part and parcel of gaining your stars back in the Champions League. When Liverpool got knocked out of the Champions League, and were in a Europa League team for years, when they got back into the Champions League, they were dropping points to teams like Ludogorets. They had to play who was it? I think it was like an Irish team or a Welsh team to the qualifiers, and they only beat them by a low score because it's a different level of football. So you can't expect to go into the Champions League and just be like, yeah, we're the old Arsenal, we're this, we're that. No, you have to gain. So your first season in the Champions League, it's about getting into the group stages. It's about getting out the group stages, yeah? Maybe a bit further, last 16, nice. But I just feel like, as Arsenal fans, that wouldn't be enough. I'm sick of this. What's the point in being a champion? And it's almost like, and bruv, don't take this like I'm ripping in on you. This is just me venting because I see this kind of thing all the time, man. It's just like when Arsenal first got in the Champions League, yeah, when I was watching, because I'm old, yeah, when Arsenal first got in the Champions League, they weren't getting dicked, but they were getting beat by Bayern Munich, by Fiorentina, and they weren't getting out the group stages. Why? Because they had to steadily progress year on year on year to about 3 years in, it was like, boom, now we're set. Now we know how to play it. Now we're starting to get in the right players because the players believe that Arsenal's back. We wouldn't have to do that as much. We wouldn't have to do that anywhere near as much because we're Arsenal now. And it'll be like, oh, Arsenal are back. So we would be able to draw in a better level of player. So I don't think that we'd get slapped. Do I think we would get beat? Yeah. But would we get back in the Champions League again? Yeah, we would. And will we do better next year and the year after? And it's about progression, man. So look, I can take a bit of banter. I can take getting slapped, bruv, because it's just a one-off. If it's a horrible pattern, then there's a problem. But if it's a one-off, and I'm not talking about here and then the next year, because it's like, bruv, it happens. Bayern Munich slapped Barcelona last year. Bayern Munich slap everyone. So, great question, by the way, anyway, which weren't really a question.
It's like this season. I don't get the meltdown after Aston Villa. Yes, the performance, but I don't get why all Arsenal fans are having a meltdown. Last season, it would draw FC. This season, we've not even drawed. We've played 4 and we've lost 4. Were we expected to beat Liverpool at Anfield? I'll say it. No. Were we expected to beat City at their ground? No. Were we expected to beat Leicester at home? Yes. That's what I would say. Villa.
Yes.
Villa. And then you look at the other games. The first game, were we expected to beat Fulham? Yes. Yeah. Next game, Sheffield United, I think it was. No, West Ham, sorry. Were we expected to beat West Ham? Yes, because we had a better squad than them and we're already basically showing more progression than what they were at that point. Then we went on to Liverpool. Were we expected to win? No. I put us down as a draw at best, as a hope. But I expected us to at least go there and compete. And we did for a bit until, obviously, they got the equaliser and then we didn't capitulate, but Liverpool's team just took over by a million country miles because they are better than us.
You guys spoke about Zinchenko from City. Any leads on that? So the Zinchenko one was very much towards the end of the transfer window. Kind of Arsenal in talks with Man City to try and get a deal done. That was very much riding on the back that Kolasinac was going to Leverkusen, and City were going to try and bring in another left back. City are now actually happy with Zinchenko, but they still want David Alaba. Arsenal are trying to get Kolasinac off the book. In January, they're going to try and get a few of their players off the book. So I think in January, it's going to be a big push for getting players out, then last few dregs, and then a couple or maybe one in. Will Arsenal try and get Zinchenko again? I don't know. The thing is, transfers change. Transfer targets change at different times. You could be going for a player in the summer, then and a club could be trying to get rid of him. The club look at a perfect example of Mohamed El Nene. Arsenal were going to try and sell El Nene to anyone that was willing to take him. Yeah, El Nene is now looking good at Arsenal, and his form's picked up, and he's now seems like he could be a player for Arsenal that can do a job for certain games. Squad player. He's not on that much money, and he can do a job that you ask him to do. Now Arsenal could be willing to offer him a 2-year deal or an extension on that. So it changes. So with the Zinchenko one, I don't know whether they're going to go back in for him. We'll see. Arsenal still need a left back because Kolasinac ain't the guy. So I can fully see him going in for a left back, but whether it will be Zinchenko, I don't know, man. We'll keep you posted.
I think 3 players will leave me in January, and I'm 90% sure. This is just me, not what I've been told. I'm 90% sure. I think an attacking midfielder will come in.
Yeah, well, they need it. I heard that Awa's deal broke down due to his brothers. It's true. Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
I think it lost us about 3,000 followers and all because, that Saturday was brutal. Some savage abuse we got. But yeah, like people need to understand that deals break down. I don't think people understand how close that deal was. Arsenal had medicals booked in for both Thomas Partey and Houssem Aouar, but then the deals broke down, or the Houssem Aouar deal broke down. You can't account for a brother coming in to try and swindle some money, and you can put that down to Raul Sanelli as well, because Raul Sanelli was the one that was splashing the cash to these agents. So obviously people thought it was something that goes on at Arsenal, and they weren't having it. I'm going to do 3 more questions. We got. Who's OMOE4? Thank you very much, OMOE4. Don't think I've seen your name down here. Why the meltdown? Arteta needs time. Every fan needs to chill. Thank you, Daniel Plays. Daniel seems to know. Look, I don't understand how my manager, in June, and now it's Pep's assistant come November. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. And the thing is as well, he hasn't even got the full team that he wants. Like, if Mikel Arteta had gone out and got all the players that he's got in now, plus he'd gone out and got Houssem Aouar, another striker and another winger, and possibly a left back, and he was playing this now, I'd be
worried. Yeah.
He's not even got half the team he needs. He's managed to get out so much deadwood. He's managed to get out so many players in this squad that just didn't need to be there.
I'm going to back Daniel up here as well. When we were 2-0 down, right, and that picture of all our players in a line, why are Arsenal fans saying when we're 2-0 down, we should attack? We should attack. What, and expose yourself even more? You've lost Thomas Partey in midfield. Your midfield now is Mohamed El Nene and Dani Ceballos. I'm sorry, but that's just going to get absolutely curved every single minute. And against Aston Villa, they did. But Villa also did the research, and they knew that Arsenal's weaker side is the right-hand side. They always attacked that right-hand side, and that's because of, obviously, Hector Bellerin and Rob Holding that are on that right-hand side.
What's the situation with Saliba? It's nuts. That's the situation with Saliba. I tell you that now. It's absolute nonsense. Look, Arsenal, knew the situation with Saliba. They knew the situation with Saliba. All right? They've had, a month? 2 maybe? To try and get Saliba out on loan. They'd spoken to Ren. They'd spoken to Saint-Etienne again. And they couldn't get a deal done. They then tried to get the deal done on transfer deadline day to a team in England, and they couldn't get a deal done. That is one of the there's a few frustrations that I had during this transfer window with regards to Arsenal, and that was one of them. The other one was the fact that they wouldn't drop the fees for players that they have no interest in keeping, until the last minute. They decide to drop the asking price for these players that they don't even want in the squad at last minute. Rather than dropping the asking price like after the first few batches of teams that had pulled out or weren't interested in buying these players, knowing full well that at the end of the season they're gone on a free. I mean, it's things like that baffle me. It's things like that wind me up. And the Saliba one is just it's poor. It's poor. There's no two ways about it. It's poor. I've got two more questions. Great job you're doing. Okay, we're saying what the chance of signing a creative midfielder in January? Keep up the great good work, Johnny Bravo. All right, won't do that again. The chances, look, how many people thought that Arsenal were going to buy in January last year? Not many. But Arteta got the players that he wanted. So I can't say that Arsenal won't sign any players in January. As you said, Dominic Szoboszlai, Hossim Aouar are options. They're probably the two options that I've seen as an attacking midfielder. I wouldn't write off Arsenal going for a winger because that's quite evident that they need another winger on that left side, maybe. And then, but other than that, I think the bigger signings will come in the summer. Arsenal need to seriously get in Europe again this year. Whether that's Champions League, Europa League, they need to get into Europe again this year. They need to win the Europa League and get into the top four because they need that progression. And players will start asking questions if again Arsenal aren't in the Champions League. So they do need to move. Last question. Is Mikel Arteta going to change the setup against Leeds United? Oh mate, I don't know, bruv. I'm not that deep in there.
We'll get out for it in a bit.
Any news on? I'm not even going to read that out. Like, you seriously think that Bellerin's going to go? Like, come on, bruv. Look, if you're saying, look, all right, cool. This is the last one I got for you. All right, you're thinking, I'm in your head rent free. First of all, Arsenal buying Lamberty, how much would he cost? 25 mil? Upwards of 25 mil? Bellerin, how much are you going to get for him? 30 mil? 35 at a push? It's just not going to happen. And Bellerin's been on a good form. People might not like Bellerin, but Bellerin's been one of the steady players in the team since the restart, and he's been consistent. So I don't know where this talk of Bellerin even potentially leaving. There was talk with clubs interested in him, maybe because Arsenal were open to selling if the price was right. But Bellerin's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere, man. Will Laka leave in January, stroke the summer? Why doesn't Arteta play Abraham up front? Again, these are questions that we ain't going to know. These are we can only give our opinions. The Will Laka leave in the summer bit, we can tell you, I think yes. And I say I think yes because they were trying everything they could to get rid of him in last summer.
Yeah.
Everything they could. Like, the Juventus one was big. We won't go into too much deal about everything else, but the Juventus one was solid. Atletico Madrid, they were solidly interested, but Juventus was the team that really wanted Lacazette. But Lacazette didn't want to go, and that's the main problem. When Lacazette doesn't want to go, then the other clubs got to try and put more for these things and contracts and offering bigger, and it's just you're getting a player that's not really. Whereas now, I mean, if you just look at the pre-season, Lacazette played hardly any of that. The start of the season, it weren't really, like, the pre-season he weren't hardly in any of that. Didn't play in the Charity Shield either, or the Community Shield. As soon as Arsenal realised that they ain't going to sell Lacazette, they brought him back into the squad because there's no point in having an unhappy Lacazette in the squad because he's got He's got Aubameyang as a friend. He's on 180 grand a week, or whatever he's on. He's got big money. It's just like there's no point. So yeah, will Lacazette go in the summer? I think he will. So yeah. Yep, that's about it.
You've already heard from David Ornstein that Arsenal's summer for 2021 is already well underway. He's already come out and said that.
And Max Aaron's sell Bellerin. Yeah, not going to happen. I just don't see it. Plus, Max Aaron's has got a bit of a big head. Not like literally got a big head. I had a lot of talk that in his talks with Bayern Munich, he was very, very arrogant. So, yeah. I think a season of humbling in the championship will probably bring his feet back on the ground firmly. All right, thank you very much. That's it tonight. Thank you very much for the governor. Thank you very much for why not Sentimentic FC. Tashi Tezing, GK, a couple of new names in there. Thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe. Catch our shows every Sunday. You can get exclusive transfer news, exclusive, more in-depth news. We don't usually do the questions, so if we do impromptu ones like this, you've got a chance to ask us questions. And why not Sentimentic? FC got a lot of airtime today, so there you go. There's a good solid debate there. Why not, Mr. New Zealand? Good solid debate. Rate that. Yeah. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. Feel free to hit us up on the socials. My inbox is always open on the Instagram, so go and follow that. We do impromptu social lives on that as well. So yeah, love to know where you're getting all your info from. Everyone does, but the thing is, if we told you, I mean, we'd be done. We'd be done before we even started, mate. Like, we've only been going for a few months, so yeah, I want to carry this on for forever and ever. So yeah, I'm definitely never going to tell you where I get your information from. But if you don't ask, you won't know. All right. Thank you very much, people. Peace out. Stay safe. And wash your hands. And hopefully this pandemic's over and we can get back in fucking ground soon, people. Come on, Arsenal. Okay, that's the last time you'll see that on this channel. I don't do a come on, Arsenal. But today I'm going to let you guys have it. All right. Love.